Is your magic meter running low? Well, we've got a cure for you. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaoli.
And I'm Patrick Dougal.
And there's some exciting Disney stuff going on this week, as always. But I do want to mention at the top of the show, folks, we say that every week. We say there's so much to talk about.
There always is.
There always is. So because of that, we actually, on our DCTC blog, we actually have one day of the week that we call Out of Time, where we kind of post something that happened that we ran out of time for, and we want you to know about. So if you're not following the blog already, go to DisneyCoastToCoast.com. You can find the blog there. It's also on Tumblr. Just wanted to mention that real quickly. Also, I just want to mention quickly, and I won't talk about this long because I'm going to wait for you to see it, Patrick, but I saw Big Hero 6 last night. Mm-hmm. And our theory?
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know?
I don't want to know.
Okay. Some people wrote me, so
you can write them back.
Yeah, I replied to them already. Folks, if you would like to know whether or not we were right or wrong, you can write me again, DisneyCoastToCoast@gmail.com.
But overall,
great movie. Great movie. And met John Lasseter.
Awesome.
Got a picture with John Lasseter last night. It was actually a really, really nice moment because first, I won't talk a lot about this, but it was so cool because, you know, everybody gives their speeches before the movie. And the reason I love John Lasseter is because, you know, everybody's thanking and congratulating everybody working on the film. And that man always brings it back to Walt. And he's like, we are, you know, continuing Walt Disney's legacy, what an honor, all that stuff. And I just love that man for that reason. And so I went up to him at the party and I was just like, and normally I so don't do this. I don't like bothering people for photos, but I was like, I've got to do this one. I have to do this with John Lasseter. But I was just like, you know, I just want you to know, like, you are the closest thing to Walt Disney this company's ever had, and Walt Disney's the reason I moved out to LA, so, like, thank you so much. And he was really sweet. A little tipsy as well, but he was really, really sweet, and I got a nice photo with him, so that was exciting.
Speaking of Big Hero 6 real quick, I saw a video just the other day of, like, the new technology they actually built for the film. Mm-hmm. They created this huge rendering computer.
Yes.
That is... If you don't know the scale of Big Hero 6, it's, in terms of rendering, it's Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, and Frozen all rendered into one movie. That's how much rendering they used on Big Hero 6.
I believe it because let me just say, like, in the opening sequence, before you see any characters or anything, it looks like a live-action film.
Yeah.
Like, the entire movie looks like animated characters dropped into live action. Like, it is so photorealistic. It's crazy. And it's a really good movie. And I was expecting to, like, enjoy it on the same level I enjoyed Wreck-It Ralph and stuff. But me, I'm more of, like, a princess musical Disney person. And the other films are, like, they're just a different genre to me. This was one of my favorites, probably, as far as the non-musicals go.
Cool.
Very good movie.
All right. Moving back to Frozen,
Actually, I want to mention one other quick thing, simply because a few weeks ago we were complaining about how we never hear about the annual pass events at Disneyland, and we've discovered the best way to go about finding out about this is just following them on Twitter, at Disneyland AP. Seems to be the best way to find out about this stuff. So if you find yourself in the same boat, at Disneyland AP on Twitter. Couldn't find one for Walt Disney World.
Because they don't exist.
Yeah, because they don't have as many events, nor do they have as many pass holders, I believe. So, in any case, now we can go into Frozen of the Week, which almost ended this week because there wasn't much Frozen news. I gotta say, like, this was almost the end of the run for Frozen of the Week.
But we found some.
We found one, yeah. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, obviously we've been talking about that Frozen is going in many different directions, and one of them was the Broadway route. And it seems to me that they're finally looking for a director to start producing the Broadway show.
Which is very exciting.
Yeah.
But I have to say, even more exciting to me is Tom Schumacher, the head of Disney Theatricals, whom I absolutely love. He was quoted saying, "It doesn't need to be fast, it needs to be great." And I'm just like, thank you.
Yeah.
Because there's such danger with this Frozen stuff of just like, get it out there, it's hot. And it's like, nope, you know what? Beauty and the Beast worked, what was it, a decade later? No, it actually wasn't that long, but it was years after the movie came out. Lion King worked years. You don't have to rush it on Broadway. It just has to be really, really great. So
the thing is, I heard an interview with Kristen Bell, and they were talking about the Broadway version and whether she would like step in for Anna or anything. She mentioned that the whole cast would be down to do the Broadway show,
as they should. Like.
Because they're Broadway stars already.
They are, but I don't know if Adina's good casting for that role. For stage. No, for stage,
yeah,
especially.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know if that would be... Right. Kristen Bell I could totally see in the role. Come on, Josh Gad, totally.
Yeah.
Like, so, it would be interesting. I think it would be cool. I actually feel like with this stage show, a lot of times they'll be inspired by the animated film and really just get, like, really artistic with it. I feel like this one specifically, visually, should stay very close to the film.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be very successful for them. But it's exciting, at the very least, to know they're, like you said, they're looking for directors. The design concept is apparently in place. And also during this interview, I don't know if you read, but Schumacher mentioned theatrical productions for Marvel and Star Wars.
Interesting.
So that's really interesting. He didn't say Broadway.
Yeah.
Didn't say musical. But, I mean, Spider-Man's been on Broadway already.
Yeah.
One of the worst shows I've ever seen in my life, quite literally. Actually, I don't even know if it's still playing.
No, it closed.
It closed?
Yeah,
Okay.
a while ago.
It's, oh, God, it was terrible. And Star Wars, my guess is probably some arena show type of thing for Star Wars.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's interesting. But, yeah, Frozen of the Week, that's it, folks.
Yeah.
One topic for Frozen of the Week. This could have been the end.
But it wasn't. There always will be one.
That's right. So, shall we continue on our Halloween adventures around the Disney parks? This week at Walt Disney World in Orlando, they do a pretty big thing, but as we've mentioned in the past, it's really specific to like a hard-ticketed event, as opposed to Disneyland, which is more during normal park hours as well. It's called Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party at Walt Disney World. And what do you want to talk about first?
Well, I know we mentioned how at DCA over here there's not much Halloween stuff, and it's the same thing over there. Magic Kingdom is really the only park that's decked out for Halloween. But like you mentioned, here in Disneyland, there's a lot of Halloween stuff even during the day, whereas in Magic Kingdom, it's really only at a hard ticket event. So you can, to see the villains, to see the specific shows or specific Halloween parade, you have to go to Mickey's Not So Scary. But it's a very fun event, and it's worth it if you're only going to the Walt Disney Park. They do a special parade called Boo to You. Differently this year, they switched some of the units around and added a little bit too. I think Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope are now in the parade this year, and it's one of my favorite parades.
Yeah, you love that parade.
I love that parade.
In fact, you were at Disneyland at the little party they have going on.
The big Thunder Ranch Carnival.
Yeah. And they started playing the Boo to You song, and I got a text from you, they're playing!
Yeah, they used the Boo to You parade song in like the ending music of one of the shows out in Disneyland. I was like, recycling music.
You loved it. You got excited.
I love that parade. One of the best units is the Haunted Mansion unit. If you've never seen it, they actually have like ballroom ghost dancers and grave diggers, and
yeah, it's pretty cool. You can YouTube the entire parade, so
it's pretty awesome. Also, they also have a castle show, which is called I think they changed the name. It might be the same name, but it used to be called the Villains Mix and Mingle, where they did this little 10-minute stage number with the villains, and then they used to come down and meet with you afterwards. However, they changed that. I think they still do the show, but they don't come down and meet with you now. What they do is now they have a new area called Club Villain, where you can go and meet the villains. I guess it's better because it used to be the best time to meet the villains was after the show, and they'd only be out at certain times, where at Club Villain now they're out kind of all the time.
Now, so I thought part of the other separate ticketed event within the event, the Villain Sinister Soiree, are there certain villains that you can only see there that you don't see?
No.
Oh, okay.
The thing with the new hard ticket Villain Soiree thing is like, it's just, you don't have to wait in a line
Okay.
And you get desserts.
That happens at Cinderella's Royal Table, which I've actually never been in. Have you been there?
I have not. It's really expensive.
Yeah, it's more expensive than dinner at Be Our Guest.
Yes.
Okay. Because I found that kind of interesting because Be Our Guest is obviously really popular, and you don't hear as much about Cinderella's Royal Table. At least I don't hear so much.
It's fairly booked all the time.
Okay.
That's where most of, like, engagements take place.
If you can't afford that place at the Grand Floridian.
The Victorian Albert.
Yeah, if you can't afford that, you go to Cinderella's Royal Table. But, yeah, the Sinister Soiree takes place at Cinderella's Royal Table, and apparently you get preferred viewing for the 8:15 Boo-to-You parade, and preferred viewing for fireworks, which is kind of cool, and a Maleficent Dragon Cup if you go. Mm-hmm. So that's $99 on top of what you already paid to get into Mickey's Not So Scary. And so I wonder if you buy a one-day park ticket that day, if you could, like, bundle the three of them. Probably.
You probably can. Yeah.
I wonder how much that would cost. That'd be crazy.
But, like, the trick-or-treat parties here, you have trick-or-treating, and one of my favorite parts, I don't know if they do it over here during Disneyland's Halloween event, but they actually have a live actor inside the grass area of Haunted Mansion as you
really?
go. And she's all in, like, ghost makeup.
Uh-huh.
She's called Madam. It's not Madam Leota, but she's called Madam something, and she just, like, talks to guests as they walk into Haunted Mansion, and it's a fun character.
And did you hear about during the Halloween event, they're having so you know about Memory Maker, of course. Mm-hmm. They're having a special, like, one-day Memory Maker package for $39.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because that's the thing that's $199 normally, right? Okay, so this is a one-day thing, and you can get pictures from all day long. It's not just during the Halloween event. So if you're in the parks all day, it works. I think that's actually kind of a smart way to get people to try it.
Yeah. Especially if you're doing shorter vacations.
That, and also, let's face it, like, I feel like photos are probably really, really, really popular during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. I mean, people go dressed up to take photos with characters. So I feel like that's really, really smart on their part. So that's kind of cool. Also, in Halloween-related news, there's a new store at the Magic Kingdom.
Memento Mori.
Yeah.
All dedicated to Haunted Mansion. It's right outside the Haunted Mansion, and it's fairly popular. I know since opening there's still been, like, lines to get into the actual store, but they have everything and anything Haunted Mansion you can think of. They even sell, you can get your picture taken and get your own lenticular, where you know, Haunted Mansion, how they change. Yeah, they can take your picture and you can get your own lenticular made.
That's cool.
So you can be a undead picture.
That's very cool. So you can transition from you to dead. Awesome. Actually, it's been so popular, there is an item limit per guest. It's 6 items per style per guest.
Yeah.
So you can't buy up the whole place and put it on eBay. I actually think 6 items is quite generous.
Yeah.
Who needs 6 of one type of...
And of course, it's Disney, so things are a little pricey.
Yeah.
But I know you can go, and if you they have special Hitchhike and Go stickers that if you ask you can get for free.
Ooh,
so.
We love free stuff at the parks.
Free Hitchhike and Go stickers.
Yay! Now Memento Mori, the story behind it is that it was Madame Leota's home, and before it was Memento Mori, what was it? What was that?
I can't tell you. It was just a little gift shop.
It was a little gift shop. So
I think it was like Liberty Square themed.
Yeah, and this is like a full-time, like, this isn't going away.
No,
it's just Halloween.
And of course, with Haunted Mansion, they have it's not just a store, there's also little special effects and details that happen. Look into some mirrors and stuff, see what happens. But,
very cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Another thing that's going on during the day is, so we all know about Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, which is a game played, actually, if you don't know about it, it's a game played in the parks where you go, you sign up, it's free, and they give you these cards, and you go to certain places they tell you to go, and things happen. And, like,
you're battling villains. It's like a virtual trading card game at the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah,
you battle... It's a game where you're trying to defeat villains, and each card has a different, like, power and defense. And on easy mode, you can use any card, but once you beat the game and you get into harder modes, the actual, like, spells and defense numbers matter.
Have you ever, like, completed that game?
I completed the easy mode. Okay. I haven't gotten to, like, hard or anything.
I did it when I was there, but I spent very little time doing it, because it is one of those things, I feel like, here with, like, Legends of Frontierland, if you're an annual pass holder, or if you go a lot, it's great, but to spend your day doing it, if it's, like, you're only there for a week, not a great idea. But in any case, for Halloween, they do have a special card. They have the Pirate Helmsman's Bombardment card. So that pirate that you see at the steering wheel in Pirates of the Caribbean, it's him on there. Here's an interesting thing, though. In order to get this card, you need to have a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party ticket.
The only way to get it is at a Not So Scary party. That's how it's always been.
I didn't realize that. So does that mean people are playing the game during Mickey's Not So Scary?
You can if you want, but I mean, just to get the card, you can only get them at during Not So Scary.
And what is having this different card, like, what's the benefit? Does it change the game for you?
No, it's just a
collector.
a rare card. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And they put out a new one every year. So this year it's the Pirate Helmsman.
I think the past years has been like Chip and Dale with like candy corn or something.
Yeah, and last year was the Hitchhiking Ghosts, I believe.
I think there was a Headless Horseman one too.
Oh, that'd be cool. I love the Headless Horseman. I wish they did more with that. But in any case, that's pretty much Halloween at Walt Disney World. Anything else you want to discuss?
Well, speaking of Headless Horseman, there's that little pre-parade before Booty-Oo where you have the Headless Horseman running down Main Street.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned the other parks don't do a ton. Does Epcot Food and Wine, is it kind of dressed Halloween or autumnal or no?
No.
Hollywood Studios, nothing?
No.
And Animal Kingdom, nothing?
Nope.
Wow.
Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom's the place to be for Halloween, folks. Okay, cool. Anywho, moving on. A little earlier we were talking about Big Hero 6. There is a Big Hero 6 meet and greet.
Yay!
No official date. Mid-November is what they're saying. And they keep mentioning it for Walt Disney World. It's going to be at the Disney Hollywood Studios. It's replacing Wreck-It Ralph's meet and greet. Mm-hmm. Still not hearing a ton about Disneyland's. It's happening.
What I've heard, for those in Walt Disney World, Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope are going away on October 24th.
Okay.
So if you want to meet them, that's the date, before they start transitioning over to Big Hero 6. From what I know at Disneyland, they've just mentioned it's going to be by the Starcade in Tomorrowland.
Which makes sense because that's where they're showing the previews for the movie. In the Magic Eye Theater.
Now, was that where Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope?
I don't ever remember Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope being in our parks. They may have done like a pre-parade or something with them, but
you definitely had meet and greet. I believe it was actually in the DCA arcade.
Probably. They were probably on the DCA side, because it tends... Yeah, I would believe that more than Disneyland, but I personally don't remember them being there. But they did release some artwork kind of showing. First of all, exciting on two levels. Number one, they're building the garage shop. This is for Florida specifically. I don't know what they're doing in Disneyland, but they're building the garage shop, which is cool. But the coolest thing is in the photo, the image of Baymax was like soft, not suited up armor.
Even in the description, they said you're gonna meet Baymax in his huggable approach.
I love that.
So he's not gonna be in his armor.
Is it gonna be inflatable, or is it gonna be hard?
We'll see.
I'm assuming it's gonna be something.
I hope it's like just plush, or we'll see.
Baymax is kind of awesome, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really, really like that character, and I was hoping that that's how we would get to meet him. I assumed it was gonna be in the armor, simply because it seems like it would be an easier costume to build and take care of.
Yeah. And both heroes gonna be in his regular, normal clothes too, not armor.
So that's exciting. So yeah.
Yeah, and what I've heard in Walt Disney World is you're gonna meet him in his garage, but they're also gonna build the Tech Institute area.
Oh, okay,
where
cool.
you can like kind of explore a little too.
No, now that we're talking about meet and greets, there's something I've wanted to talk about for a while, actually. How do you feel about, like, these meet and greets they seem to be getting much, like, longer as far as the time you get to spend with the guest. And there seems to be, like, kind of a pre-show type of thing in a lot of cases. Like, when we met Thor, you have to, like, go through this pre-show to meet them. Do you think that the added wait time that creates is worth the end result? Or would you rather just, like, wait in the line, get the picture, have a quick interaction, and go?
I mean, it all depends on that person. And it's normally with the interaction, besides, like, the pre-show timing, with the actual interaction timing, it all depends on the character itself.
Yeah.
You have people who can, what they call love and rushed.
Love and rushed.
But then there are times where people do want to spend extra longer. So it all depends on that. But in terms of the pre-show, I mean, I enjoy the pre-shows. I mean, they even added a pre-show when they changed Tinkerbell over to Town Square Theater at Walt Disney World. She now has a little pre-show where you enter a room before you get pixie dust on you to shrink you, and then you go in. Huh. So it's more storytelling, which I like.
So now pixie dust can shrink you. I thought it was just to fly.
No, it's multiple uses.
You know who created that shrinking pixie dust?
Tinkerbell.
Wayne Zelensky.
I don't believe it.
So yes, guys, get excited. Big Hero 6 coming to the theme park soon. Some really... Oh, before we move on, actually, I want to talk about the Feast short, which is really good. Well, let me rephrase that. Love the story and the way it's told. Not crazy about the animation.
Okay, see, I've heard 100% different. I've heard people loving the animation style and hoping that they make an entire movie based on that animation
Here's
style.
what the animation style looks like. Now, you've seen the little teaser, yes?
I assume it's kind of like Paperman, where it's like...
No, Paperman's awesome, animation style. The thing is... To me, it looked like you've seen special features on DVDs and stuff where like they show you like the test animations before it's like complete, before they've added in shading, before the edges around it and all that stuff. That's what it looked like to me. I'm not going to say I disliked it. It just didn't look as clean to me. The style didn't do it for me. The story's so cool because it's kind of telling the story of a man, but through his dog. So it's kind of funny because, like, at the beginning, the male character, the lead male character, is, like, a young guy, and so, like, he's always eating junk food, and so the dog ends up eating the pizza and stuff like that. And then the guy gets in a relationship, so he starts eating healthy, and so you see the dog, like, being like, I don't want to eat that healthy stuff. And then you see the guy... Well, I don't want to ruin it, but in any case, you see this man's relationship through the interaction of the food he feeds his dog. And it was kind of fun. I was like, it made me laugh out loud. I thought it was cool. It is definitely a unique animation style. Didn't rock my world. So, but it's kind of cool. But in any case, oh my God, we're running out of time. This is crazy. There's something super controversial at the Hollywood studios.
Yeah. Basically, at Disney Hollywood Studios, they printed new maps, as they often do, and now on the maps, it seems like the Sorcerer's hat is removed.
Yeah.
So there's entire speculation on whether it's just a map thing, they just took it away, or they're actually soon going to be removing the Sorcerer's hat from Hollywood Studios.
Now, here's the thing. From what I'm understanding, it's not like the daily maps that you get when you enter the park. It's actually a Walt Disney World brochure. So when those are printed, those last for a much longer period of time. So it seems to me like they know something's going to happen. When they reached out, because this is all speculation at this point, so somebody reached out to Disney, and what they said was, we have nothing to announce at this time. To me, it seems like it's going away. I think that that's great. Do you remember the Hollywood Studios before the hat?
Yeah.
Okay, I do as well. It was kind of cool. You'd walk in on Hollywood Boulevard, and you would just see Grauman's Chinese Theater, which is such a Hollywood icon. But this was interesting to me. I always wondered why they put that hat there. And after doing some research, apparently, when the real Grauman's Chinese went under new ownership here in Hollywood, they wanted a cut of all the photos taken in front of the fake one at Disney Hollywood Studios. And Disney was like, well, we're not going to do that. So they covered it with the hat.
Yeah.
Whether or not that story's true, I don't know, but I find it interesting, and I would believe it, if there's some copyrighted building structure, whatever. So that's kind of interesting. I'm happy to see it go. I think that it's, I don't want to say an eyesore. It's just like, you just put it in front of a beautiful building. The Chinese Theater was kind of the icon, along with the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
I think the Eiffel Tower should just be the Hollywood Studios icon.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Unfortunately, you don't really see it from everywhere in the park.
That's
Maybe
the only
they could move it. It'd be great if they could move it, especially since like the studio tour is gone now and everything. But I'm kind of happy about it going away, if it is indeed going away.
That's my only problem. It's like, with every park, you always have that icon. Right when you walk in, you have the castle, the ball, the Tree of Life. It's normally the hat for Hollywood Studios, and taking that away, I guess it is the Eiffel Tower, but it's not really there.
I feel like it's been confusing, though. I definitely think in more recent years it has been the hat, but I feel like they have had three. They've had the hat, they've had the theater, and they've had the Eiffel Tower. It's kind of cool that might be going away. So I think it will be. What do you think? Do you think it's all just rumor? I don't think it was a mistake taken off the
definitely
map.
not.
I definitely think it's going away. So that's kind of cool. Speaking of things going away, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye Luigi's Flying Tires at Disney California Adventure. This attraction was, if you're not familiar with it, they had a similar attraction in Tomorrowland in the early years of Disneyland, where it's basically like a human-size air hockey table.
Exactly.
And I've done the attraction. You've done it, right?
Once.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm ready to say goodbye to it. I even remember when they showed video of it in the test stages, and they were like all excited about it. I'm like, this is not going to last. And I remember when it first opened, they would like throw beach balls on there, and you'd be bouncing. I was like, that is not going to last, and it's just not working.
Yeah, it could be fun, except they don't kind of allow you to have fun on it.
Yeah.
Like once you have to move around to get this thing to move, but they tell you not to like move around.
Yeah, and once you figure it out, the ride's over.
Yeah.
Like it's really, really weird. Moving on from there, there's so much stuff to talk about. It's crazy. Newsies is on tour, which is exciting. But the thing that's even more exciting, in fact, Patrick was with me when I found this out. You told me, in fact, that there is a new song in the touring production of Newsies. Now, the reason this excites me is because there is a video out there called Anatomy of a Song with Alan Menken, and Tom Schumacher is the host of it, and the lyricist as well, whose name I'm blanking on at the moment. And Tom Schumacher basically says, show us your writing process. I want to see how you write a song. And they basically write a song in front of us. And this song that they started on that video live is now in the show, which is kind of amazing because I watched that video like a billion times because it's such a beautiful song. And of course they made changes to it and everything, but it's such a great song. So, yeah, Newsies on tour.
Interesting stuff.
Can't wait for it. We have a couple more little points we're going to do, and then we'll do some trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. El Capitan Theater, which you still haven't experienced, have you?
No, I haven't gone yet.
It's right here on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood. It's a movie theater owned by Disney where they show their movies and do little shows and stuff, but they're now offering tours, which I love touring theaters. I don't know about you, but like those old historic theaters, I love taking tours of them. And so they're now offered for 30-minute tour, it's $15 and 15-minute tour, it's $5. So worth checking out, I think. I'm going to go check it out for sure.
I know the 30-minute tour is only offered at 8:30 in the morning,
okay,
while the express tour is offered various times throughout the day. So if you want to do the longer one, gotta get there early.
Yeah, 15 minutes is nothing. I want the longer one. So map projection is very popular in the parks now.
Oh, yeah.
Cinderella Castle, we got it going on in Tokyo, I believe it is, as well.
France.
Yeah.
They use it in their... What is that end night show? It's like
I know what you're talking
World of Color plus fireworks plus projection.
Yeah, so it's really popular to be projecting stuff on castles now. Well, did you know that now you can project on your wedding cake?
I did.
It's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
They have video of it out there on YouTube, but it's basically like, you know, a tiered wedding cake, and it's all
completely white.
All white fondant on it. But now Disney Weddings projects Tinkerbell and Pixie Dust, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I loved it. So at first I was like, come on, this is getting a little ridiculous. And then I was like, this is awesome.
No, when you actually watch the video, you're like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then I was like, like it really is like working. They can, this projection mapping stuff is like, you can do so much with it. It's crazy. We've seen it in Indiana Jones. We're seeing it in a lot of rides now. It's great. I love it.
Now I can eat it.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally, there is a new Marvel experience happening, actually called the Marvel Experience.
You want to hear something shocking?
What?
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Basically, it's this... I don't want to say it's a live show.
No.
It's more of a ride that's going to be touring around. It's pretty much this... it's the world's only 3D... 360 stereoscopic 4D ride.
But it's not even a ride as much as like an experience.
Yeah, well, it's on this like movable seat thing like you'll find in theme parks. And I don't know, you get to like meet I don't even know how to explain it. You get
to go on adventures
with different superheroes.
And it sounds like you have certain things you need to accomplish. And there's like 7 domes involved. It's over 2 acres. They're calling it the world's first hyper-reality tour. There's a 4D motion ride, as you mentioned. So it sounds like there's several parts to it.
Okay.
It involves all your favorite Marvel characters. And it just sounds... it kind of sounds like a theme park touring the country.
Yeah.
Which is what excites me. Apparently the technology used is like state-of-the-art technology.
Yeah, I was saying it's like the only thing.
Did you happen to see the price of it?
I did not.
It varies throughout the country, as most tours do. But for San Diego, I was a little surprised by the price. Take a guess how much it would cost.
I'm going to say, so there's no seat pricing, so it's all one price, correct?
From what I saw quickly, yes.
I'm going to guess around like $30-40.
$39.50.
Oh, okay.
Cheaper than I expected. I expected at least a $50 ticket. So, like, I am thinking about going to San Diego and checking this out. I think it comes here in like February or something. But there's 4 stops, I believe, at the moment. They have a whole website, so you can just Google the Marvel Experience. It sounds really unique, which, as you know, that's what excites me.
Yeah, and it seems like there's like it's almost like a Marvel Carnival-esque thing too, because there's also specific exhibits you can check out as well.
Yeah.
After the whole dome experience. So
sounds exciting. I am curious to find out like how long it takes to go through, because I guess that would kind of affect the price, in my opinion. It's like, well, if it's only a 20-minute experience.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is. It sounds like it's a really in-depth, long thing. So the Marvel Experience, the world's first hyper-reality tour. Check that out. And kind of related, there's a Marvel documentary coming out called Marvel Pulp to Pop, which I don't really know what that means. What does pulp to pop mean? Pop, I get. Pop culture.
Totally.
I don't know the pulp part.
I don't either.
I don't know. It just makes me think of orange juice. Yeah, exactly. But in any case, that's on Tuesday, November 4th. It's going to be on ABC. And I actually think I'm going to check it out. As our regular listeners know, I'm not a huge superhero guy, but I do find it interesting to see how these iconic characters become so iconic. And it's interesting. There's a great Superman documentary like that, too, that I found really interesting. But in any case, Marvel documentary, Marvel Pulp to Pop, Tuesday, November 4th.
And I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but there's also the plan that Sony may be releasing Spider-Man back over to Marvel. So Spider-Man will now be owned back by Marvel, and which means Disney will own Spider-Man again.
Which means we can start with another Spider-Man franchise. Ugh. Really?
Yeah. No, but then the
you.
whole controversy is whether Andrew Garfield would make that transition over as well.
I like him as Spider-Man. There's enough Spider-Man movies at this point. I'd say let's wait a little while before Disney makes another one. But
the whole thing with that is Spider-Man may be coming to the parks,
which would not be allowed in Florida still.
Correct.
But still. Kind of cool.
But we're in Disneyland, so...
Yeah, so whatever. So that's exciting, and I think it's time for trivia!
Yes! Well, speaking so much about Marvel, did you know... We've talked about
Probably
this.
not.
We've talked about this before.
Okay.
But, there is a Feld Entertainment Marvel show that's touring the country right now. Do you know the name of that show? No, this is a live-action show.
The Marvel Feld Entertainment Experience. No, so let me think. Feld Entertainment, they're the people who do like Disney on Ice and all that stuff.
They created a live Marvel tour.
I don't know the name of it.
It's on tour right now. It's actually called Marvel Universe Live. It did a couple stops in Florida. There's some videos out there. Actually, one of my friends plays Iron Man in it. So
cool.
Yeah.
Is it coming out here?
I think so. I mean, it's on like a 2-year tour at the moment. So
your friend's Iron Man. So what I'm hearing is free tickets.
I don't know.
Let's make that happen. Okay. And for you, I've got a question related to Disney Hollywood Studios. Now, as we've mentioned, there's a lot of change coming to the Hollywood Studios, which I think is a good thing. But did you know when the Disney Hollywood Studios opened as the Disney MGM Studios, there's actually a character that was kind of supposed to have its own little land there and was supposed to really be an iconic figure for Disney MGM Studios. And it didn't happen for legal reasons. Do you have any idea who that character is?
Well, if it's legal reasons, is it a Disney character?
That's the question.
I'm guessing it's not a Disney character.
Well, It's in question.
Is it Oswald?
No, it's not Oswald. He is seen in Disney parks, but nobody owns him out 100%.
Oh, man.
The only place where this character has a dark ride is at Disneyland.
Oh, is it Roger Rabbit?
It is Roger Rabbit. Yeah, there was supposed to be like a whole maroon cartoon area. I've read, I don't know whether or not this is 100% true, but over by where Rock and Roller Coaster is, there's supposed to be a whole maroon cartoon area. But the problem was the film was financed by Amblin Entertainment as well as Disney, which is Steven Spielberg's company. And, Roger Rabbit was a huge hit when it came out. And so there's talks of sequels, and it's like, I think the only case where you'll see like Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, and the Warner Brothers characters and the Disney characters all mixed in. And it's because Steven Spielberg had a great relationship with all of these studios. And, but yeah, he was supposed to be a really big part of the Hollywood studios. And you see little pieces of him here and there. In fact, I think they have a maroon cartoon billboard in the Hollywood studios somewhere. And you see I remember by the studio tour, you'd see his little cutout in one of the walls. And, you still have character meet and greets with him every once in a while. But there was that problem of who really owns this character. So
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so kind of cool. Anyway, folks, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for listening. Be sure to go to DisneyCoastToCoast.com and check out all of the fun ways you can connect with us. And until then, I guess we'll talk to you next week.
See you later.
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.